Tim Ryan and Randy Cross here at Sun Devil Stadium. We're with the Cardinals, just 11 for Chris Miller's Atlanta offense. Miller brings him out now at the 27-yard line. First possession of the second half. Settle the lone setback. That's complete to Sean Collins. And here's a guy we talked about as being such a key weapon over the first 6 games of the year, the rookie from Northern Arizona. They just haven't had the ball enough today to really get him to work.
A guy like this, you can't just start throwing to him. You have to set him up. He is the man, as he described himself, in the Atlanta Falcon pass offense. But unless you're setting the kind of passes they like to throw to him are set up by efficient running, and they haven't been able to do anything on the ground.
Second and a yard. Settle has the first down for Atlanta to their 39-yard line. Callaway and Hill on the tackle. A hot sunny afternoon here in Tempe, Arizona, as the Phoenix Cardinals have just been outstanding over the first half, opening a 21-6 lead, having moved to a 24-6 lead on a 50-yard field goal by Al Del Greco. They had time of possession working for them. They have been tough on the defense of Marion Campbell's Atlanta Falcons, doing a better job against them than certainly Atlanta expected. Earl Farrell with 2 short touchdown runs. Miller is sacked. Loose ball. Cardinals say they have it, but it will be Atlanta ball. The charge led by Anthony Bell, the linebacker, on Miller. Bell, number 55.
The call here on this play is grasp and control. As soon as the referee deems it grasp and control on a sack like this, then it is automatically the ball is dead. And as you can see, he had Miller all around by the legs. You know, at the top of this show, Tim, and there we see number 55, Anthony Bell, 6'3", 235, out of Michigan State, having himself a whale of a game. We said at the beginning of the game that the Atlanta defense would be the key because they dominate. Well, they are the key. They're being dominated to this point.
Second down and 14. Miller incomplete. Intended for Jones. Tight coverage on the play from Mike Zordich. That'll leave third down.
Well, here's that previous play. We're going to see this at regular speed, and let's see if we can tell if it was grasp and control. He sees the guys coming. He's spinning. They've got him. That's pretty quick. I happen to believe that was grasp and control. They had control of Miller's legs.
Well, it's third down, and Miller with probably the first really big play here early in the second half. Falcons have to keep the football. And the pass a little too low for Michael Haynes. Couldn't get down to it. Miller knows he didn't deliver the ball as well as he might have. Haynes was open. Fourth down.
Well, some people think that the Falcons might have just gotten a little break by not having that being called a fumble. What they're not getting at this point is any kind of real inspired play. Whether you call it a gut check, whether you call it fire from the coach, I don't care what you call it. They had better start playing with more emotion, or they will never even be close in the second half.
Sikahema awaiting the punt from Scott Fulhag. Sikahema signals fair catch at the 21-yard line of the Phoenix Cardinals. And we'll be back to Sun Devil Stadium with the Cardinals on top.
45-yard line. Cardinals first and 10.
The Atlanta Falcons and the Phoenix Cardinals live from Sun Devil Stadium in Tempe, Arizona, the beautiful Valley of the Sun. And a typically hot, sunny afternoon was not typical yesterday. And this Phoenix Cardinal performance is not typical of what they have shown in recent weeks because of all of the serious injuries they've had. They are playing well indeed. Gary Hogeboom back at quarterback this week after missing last week's action, leading them to a 24-6 lead. On first down, Farrell gets about a yard. Casillas and Mike Gann combined to stop him.
We see Tim Green and Tony Casillas and Ben Thomas. They're all down there in the Falcon defensive huddle. They're batting each other in the head. They're trying to get each other fired up. They better get each other fired up. Tony just made a very nice play that time, right there, coming off of Connie Kawhi.
Well, and you point out that now they're going to have to get the emotion level raised because the heat, no doubt, is starting to take its toll on them. They came from near 30-degree temperatures in Atlanta. Second down and 8. Boom under pressure from Green. The screen. Farrell. Not a lot of blocking, but he got away from 3 Falcons and picked up about 5 yards. Jesse Tuggle finally got him.
And Evan Cooper, number 20, added a nice little late finishing touch. Wasn't late, I shouldn't say late. He was right at the whistle.
Quick look at some other scores. Earlier action as you watch them on your screen. It'll be 3rd down and about 4 here for the Cardinals. Again, would like to be able to grind it out, use up more of that clock time. They've been so effective at churning out the clock during the first half. 4:53 remaining in the 3rd quarter, and it's been all Phoenix. Ogaboom, a little high, intended for Don Holmes. He couldn't quite climb the ladder to bring that one down. Number 83, Don Holmes. Imagine this Cardinal offense without Todd Pete. They let him go because he just never made the weight this year, and yet here was a fine player a year ago. Tootie Robbins, their right tackle, out with an injury. Derek Kennard out facing DUI charges. Stump Mitchell gone for the year with a knee injury. Roy Green, their outstanding receivers, on the sideline. And getting this kind of performance from their offense today. On 4th down. Sanders. Fair catch at the 30-yard line of Atlanta. So the Falcons with decent field position here after a 43-yard punt, but trailing 24-6. 4:33 remaining 3rd quarter here at Sun Devil Stadium, and Phoenix in control of the game so far here, and certainly on the scoreboard 24-6. But you are reminded that they have not been a dominating defense, particularly in the second half. But they are at home, used to the heat. Atlanta's on the road, and I think showing some of the effects of the 90-degree temperatures here in Tempe. They have good field position at their 30.
This is not a desperate situation for the Falcons. They just need to start making things happen. They have plenty of time left.
Miller, off target, intended for Haynes. Now maybe Haynes didn't go out when he should have, but the pass off the mark. Look at that.
Oh, and that's in Los Angeles. The Rams obviously having a little post-Monday Night Football letdown.
And New England has come back to tie the 49ers. At 17-all, we remind you Joe Montana out of that game with a knee injury. Seattle shutting out Denver at home. 2nd and 10. Pass complete to Ron Heller, but he is hit immediately and got only about a yard on the play. Tight end flaring out to the right side, and Tim McDonald was all over him.
They may have, look at that. Tim McDonald's got his chin strap all wrapped up inside his helmet. They may have had grand things originally planned for that play, but with Tim McDonald playing in the defensive backfield, he's covering a tight end like Ron Heller. They better not go back to it. They throw a ball out there on the sideline. Tim McDonald will pick that off and take it for a touchdown.
3rd and 9. A lot of time for Miller. Has his man and a 1st down. George Thomas, his first catch, number 89, first-year man from Nevada, Las Vegas. So Miller on the money there, and a couple of injured players for the Cardinals. Galloway gets up slowly, and Waller is still down and holding his knee. Jim Waller, the UCLA rookie, the number 5 pick, getting to start when Rod Sadler was injured, and then Bob Clasby was injured. So we have a timeout on the field. 3:34 to go, third quarter. Back here in Tempe, Arizona, 24-6 Phoenix lead. You wonder what more can happen to these Cardinals, but this time it is rookie tackle Jim Waller being helped off the field, and their only defensive line substitute, Freddie Gilbert, has come on the field. He'll play at right defensive end. Galloway will move to tackle. They do not now have a backup available. They've lost Bob Clasby. They've lost Gary Hadd. Freddie Joe Nunn still out with his substance abuse suspension until next week. On first down, the pass intended for Jones incomplete. It'll leave 2nd and 10.
You know, wouldn't it figure, Tim? We were told Jones, the best hands I've ever seen. It's kind of like saying a relief pitcher hadn't given up a home run in 37 innings. The first guy he faces, the guy hits it out of the park. And you see Jim Waller on the sideline on the bench for the Phoenix Cardinals. You know, we mentioned earlier, Coach Stalling said this kid was playing great. This is really an injury they can ill afford. And there's his replacement, Gilbert, number 93. He's not too bad a player. I played against him. He's pretty effective, but he's no Jim Waller.
On 2nd and 10, little flare nearly picked off by Gilbert. Intended for Settle, and Gilbert saw that one coming all the way. Gilbert, a free agent, picked up after he was cut by Denver. Played some time in the USFL.
We see Gilbert 93 in the right-hand corner of your screen there, being blocked very effectively by Mike Kent. In fact, he's really being blocked well, but he manages to get a hand up and bat it down, and he's happy. He's happy he blocked that pass. He's happy he's got a job. He's working.
That's right. First play on the field, he gets involved. Third down. This is an important third down play for these Falcons. 3:07 to go in the quarter. On the clock, a lot of time, but they need to make something happen. Bailey tries to one-handed a flag down, and it may be Marcus Turner called for interference here. Turner, number 23, a UCLA rookie, out there in the nickel package on 3rd and 10.
Interference, number 23, defense, first down.
Gene Stallings would seem not to agree with the referee's decision right there, but we're going to see in the replay. Here are Bailey and Turner. We mentioned a lot about the liberalization of the pass defense rules for defensive backs. He's got to turn around. He can't contact the receiver without looking for the ball. That is clearly pass interference.
Yeah, that first chuck you saw was all right because it was inside the zone, but once he got downfield, he couldn't then have contact with him with that kind without playing the ball. First down, Atlanta at the 35, 36-yard line, make it. Traffic again at the goal line. Michael Haynes, the intended receiver. Cedric Mack had the coverage, but there was a case of Haynes when he looked up for the ball, saw it was a little off mark, and he ran into the defender.
Miller gives it a pump. Figures he's going to throw it down to the flag in the corner of the end zone. And here's an attempt to get a pass interference. See, but both of them are looking back at the ball when the contact is made. That is legitimate. Plus the fact you can make an argument that neither one of them really had a legitimate chance to catch that ball.
So that leaves 2nd and 10. Miller and company. Miller falls down and gets it off to Settle. And Settle grinds out about 4 yards. It looked like that was meant to be a draw play, but when Miller stumbled or was stepped on one or the other, it was lucky that Settle was able to get possession.
3rd and 6 at the 32.
That was actually kind of funny looking, but that man right there, Marion Campbell, is not laughing about his quarterback's last play. You know, things aren't going well. You may not be playing as well as you think you would love to play, and all of a sudden something like that happens. You come back to the huddle, you go, on top of all this, I'm going to end up in a blooper reel somewhere.
Floyd Dixon, George Thomas, and Sean Collins, 3 wide receivers. Third down, and this time inside draw to Settle again, and Settle's got some room. First down, Atlanta to the 12-yard line of Phoenix. Jay Taylor got him there. settle an 18-yard gain.
It was runs like that that put this man in the Pro Bowl, John Settle, last year, number 44 for the Atlanta Falcons. He gets the ball. It's a quick little, just right up the middle. He's supposed to read it and go, get some nice blocks, but he cuts back against the grain of the defense and makes these guys want to have to get him. And finally, he just says to number 27, Jay Taylor, fine, let's go one-on-one.
So Atlanta threatening here now. This is Jones. Touchdown. Keith Jones. The Illinois rookie goes 14 yards for the score. And Atlanta has themselves back in it. They needed to have something happen on that series. And they got the score. 1:27 still to play in the third quarter.
On the conversion attempt, Miller to hold. McFadden to kick.
Paul McFadden will attempt the point after. Chris Miller holding. And it is good. So the Atlanta Falcons, who have struggled offensively since the early part of the game, have now got themselves back in it at 24-13, 69 yards in 9 plays. A 14-yard run by that man, Keith Jones.
This is much the same kind of a play we saw Ron Wolfley score on earlier. The ball's flipped out. Jones just runs out to the right, lets everything kind of stretch out, gets some nice blocks, then accelerates up through the hole, and no one can get there in time to stop from getting into the end zone. We made the comment about Keith Jones, number 38, there having such great hands, being a great receiver. He's dropped a few passes, but that was a great run at a perfect time for the Atlanta Falcons. They needed those points on the board.
There's Paul McFadden, and has just scored his 500th point. Former Eagle, former Giant, coming over as a free agent this year to Atlanta, been doing the job for them. 2 field goals for McFadden today, and now an extra point. Sikahema and Baker are the deep men awaiting the kick from McFadden. To the 27-yard line. Met there by Albert Shelley. Yeah, next Sunday, doubleheader action on CBS will feature these Atlanta Falcons at New Orleans, and we mentioned New Orleans on top of the Rams 33-7 today in the third period. Phoenix will be at Dallas. It all begins with the NFL today at 12:30, and then our doubleheader game will have the Eagles at Denver. John Elway and company and Randall Cunningham. And at 12:30 Eastern time, our gang on the NFL today will start the day for you. First down, Cardinals from their own 27. Tony Jordan, not much. He'll probably take a 1-yard loss on the play. Tim Green blasting in there. There's a guy that's happy in this new revised offense of the Falcons. And look at how fired up he is, number 99.
He's fired up. He's ready to go. You know, how about that interview today? Irv Cross and Mike Ditka. Ditka would like that kind of action. Hit somebody in the head, slam him in the face. Irv asked him a question, and Ditka fired right back in his face. That was a great interview.
2nd and 10. Booms. Pass is caught. Yes, it is, by Awalt. Falcons defender Scott Case complaining that it was grounded, but it is ruled a completion to Robert Awalt. Low line drive from Hogaboom.
Well, Scott Case doesn't happen to think that was a completion. That's one of those ones where if you're the receiver, the guy comes up to you and says, "Did you catch that?" And you go, "Absolutely." Yeah, absolutely, maybe. We'll see the ball zip out here to the sideline. Now look real closely. Let's get a look at this. Awalt hits him in the chest. Can't quite tell with the shadows when it drops down like that. It doesn't seem that it ever really lost his grasp on the ball. I think it was a catch.
Well, you got the replay guys involved now that replay came up for them to look at.
Play stands. Completed pass. 3rd down.
So the shadowy play does stand with 9 seconds remaining. and it turns into a 4-yard gain. It'll be 3rd down, and you can see the Falcons defense, Tim Green, trying to fire up his guys, saying, hey, this is a big play right here for us. 3rd down, we stop him, we get the ball back, we got a whole quarter to go. And they're just going to let it wind down here. So that will be the end of the 3rd quarter with the score, Phoenix 24, Atlanta 13. We pause for a word from your local station.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? The good time, great taste of McDonald's. And by Miller Genuine Draft. Cold filtered for real draft taste. So tap into the cold.
Tim Ryan and Randy Cross at Sun Devil Stadium. A big 3rd down play defensively for Atlanta. Cardinals at their own 30-yard line, leading 24-13. A fired up Atlanta defense needs the big play here. Hogaboom delivers. Vai-Sikahema, 1st down, Phoenix at the Atlanta 46.
Vai-Sikahema hasn't gotten a lot of playing time this year so far for Phoenix, but he's made the ones he's gotten count. We'll see Tim Green for Atlanta. Number 99 gets off there. Great start on the right corner of your screen. Sharp puts him around. He gets a hand on Hogaboom. Hogaboom hangs in there, dumps the ball to Sikahema. He doesn't run fancy. He runs north and south. He's headed for the end zone.
Big 1st down play for Phoenix and a crusher for Atlanta. Tony Jordan for about 4.
Tackled by Thomas.
220-pounder from Kansas State. Been getting a fair amount of activity today, and that's what he wanted. Ben Thomas made the stop.
Well, Tim Green's still down there. He's beating guys on the shoulder pads. He's hitting them in the helmet. He's saying, come on, guys, let's go. He's trying to get this team fired up. You know, Green is a guy, they use him everywhere. He says he kind of found his niche by not having a niche. He's able to play on the right, the left, the middle. He gets his hand down. He actually likes it more when he's a defensive lineman than it does when he's a linebacker.
In his 4th year, and having had injuries and so on, he's a happy guy this year, playing well. Hogaboom, got a man open. Smith, what a catch! Evan Cooper knocked him out, but he burned Scott Case again.
Great pass protection here by the Phoenix Cardinal offensive line. Hogaboom just throws this ball out there and says, please, JT, go get it. JT does. Turns on an extra gear all the great wide receivers have and hauls it down at this standpoint, to this point in the 2nd half. JT, you're right. That's the biggest play so far in the 2nd half for the Phoenix Cardinals.
7 catches on the day, 96 yards for JT Smith. Came in leading the league with 47. Loose ball down. Jordan at the 2-yard line, down by contact, and even though the ball came loose, it had been whistled dead.
Tackled by Case.
Tony Jordan's 12th carry of the day.
Well, Tony Jordan's going to follow the old guard tackle counter play. You see the guard and the tackle, they pull from the right-hand side. They go screaming over to the left. A lot of teams run it, and Phoenix is running it real well. Here, they just saw the guys come from the left-hand side of your screen to the right, come through there, running like Joe Wolf. Good block there on the linebacker. Jordan, the ground calls that fumble. That's why they didn't rule that as a fumble.
Ernie Jones came up with it anyway, just to make sure, number 86. Earl Farrell, touchdown. His 3rd of the day. For the Phoenix Cardinals, converting that important 3rd down play with a pass to Sikahema, striking big to Smith, and Farrell gets him in the end zone again. Del Greco for the point after. And it's good.
Here you see an end zone replay. Gets the ball. Connie Kawhi, great block, blocking back, pushes Casillas back into the end zone. He follows him into the end zone. Touchdown, Earl Farrell.
So the Cardinals widen their lead.
Winning the world over. Have you been behind the wheel? In a Ford. Winning the world over. Have you driven a Ford lately?
Ford, America's best-selling cars and trucks for the 3rd straight year. Ford, winning again.
Winning the world over. Have you driven a Ford lately?
Want to tap into real draft beer taste? Then tap into cold filtered, never heat pasteurized Miller Genuine Draft. Its rich, smooth, real draft taste blows ordinary beers away.
Life's full of simple pleasures, like the comfort of Levi's jeans. Or had you forgotten?
This NFL game summary is sponsored by Levi's 506 jeans. Cut a little fuller in the thigh for extra comfort.
Earl Farrell's 3rd touchdown of the day makes it 31-13 for the hometown Phoenix Cardinals. And as you see in our game summary, Farrell with 42 yards rushing, but 3 of those scores as he bowled his way in from close into the Atlanta goal line, and a 31-13 lead. And Randy Cross, just when it looked like Atlanta was getting themselves back into it, the Cardinals take the wind out of their sails.
Exactly, Tim. We didn't give them much credit to be able to wear this Atlanta defense down. They have. They have 30 carries, 108 yards, 4 rushing touchdowns. They are physically beating up this team.
Deion Sanders trying to make something happen, gets it out to the 36-yard line, 34-yard line, pardon me. Deion Sanders on the kickoff return. And so far he has been held in check today for making a big play. Had an interception in the first half and promptly fumbled it on his return, giving the ball back to the Cardinals. There will be lots more big plays from that guy in the years ahead. He is something special. I love Marion Campbell's comment about him. He says it's great to coach 4-2 speed.
He says, just move a little bit over this way, or move a little bit over this way, and go run 4-2.
I'm not going to worry about what goes on behind you because nobody will be there. It's 1st down, and Chris Miller's now got a serious uphill climb for his Falcons. And he's on the money there. Sean Collins, the Northern Arizona rookie. He's got his mom visiting from San Diego, some other members of his family, and a bunch of folks and fans from his days at Flagstaff.
Sean Collins is on the inside right here. The slot just comes off the shuck from Bell, or Harvey, number 56, cuts inside and gets the pass drilled right to him by Chris Miller. Fine pass, nice catch. You got to do a lot more of that coming up here.
1st down in Phoenix territory at the 41-yard line. Miller 14 of 28 passing. Quick release to the tight end, Heller. Heller driven back, but his forward progress will be at about the 35-yard line of the Cardinals. Tim McDonald put the hit on him. It'll be about a 7-yard gain when they respot the ball, leaving 2nd and 3 for Atlanta. Giants have widened their lead over San Diego 20-6, and New Orleans a big lead over the Rams at Los Angeles. San Francisco now leading New England by a touchdown, and Seattle a touchdown over Denver. 2nd down and 3. Jones hit immediately. Maybe a yard on the play. McDonald again.
Good all-around defense on that play by the Phoenix Cardinals. Miller wanted to try to hit Sean Collins again on that little slant pass. He's a perfect guy to do it on. The guy's got hands look like first baseman's gloves. He's a fine receiver. He's got hands a lot like Jerry Rice. Great big old things.
Tim McDonald told us that he would be watching those backs out of the backfield. That would be his primary responsibility. Lots of time the strong safety on the tight end. But he said they are so good out of the backfield. Jones and Settle catching the ball. He said that'll be my responsibility, and he was all over Jones on that one. On third down, they run it for a first down. Keith Jones. So the Falcons keep it going. Inside the 30 to the 28. Michael Zordich on the tackle that time. And we'll spin some more finals from action earlier today for you. Settle and Jones and Kenny Flowers back healthy again, and Gene Lang has been playing well, but he's hurt today with a quad injury and has not been out there. Atlanta, that offense is just going to develop into a real good one. The receivers they have. That's Settle in the backfield, showing he can catch the ball on the fingertips. Picks up a first down to the 17-yard line of Phoenix. Eric Hill steered him out. 12 yards on the play.
Rod Dowhauer, the Atlanta Falcons offensive coordinator, says what Chris Miller is starting to do better now is flaring off these quick little patterns to the running backs. He didn't used to do that. He didn't have the patience. He didn't have the field vision to hit a guy like John Settle, and John Settle just rumbles right on down the sideline. Chris Miller, you can see him on a game-to-game basis. If you watch much film on the Falcons, is maturing more and more every week.
Falcons have got it rolling now. 9:28 to play. They're down 31 to 13. They need to strike. Miller away from Bell. Had to throw the ball on the run, incomplete. Intended for Rawalt, but he was being chased from behind. Second down. McDonald and Mack had the coverage downfield. Chris Miller wearing the flak jacket there for those sore ribs and missed a game. They thought he might be gone for nearly a month. And he came back the following week.
And the irony of all that, though, Tim, is the fact that where he got hurt was up high around his chest and his cartilage up there in his ribs. It wasn't down below where that flak jacket really kept protection.
Second and 10. Blitz, Settle. He'll score. Touchdown. Perfect play by Miller and Settle. The blitz came from outside and Settle ran right by it. Ken Harvey had the charge on, but Miller timed it perfectly to a wide open Settle.
That was a great job of execution by Chris Miller and John Settle. He just brings that whole defense up. You see they're setting up the screen. The defenders come, flips the ball out to Settle. There's nobody there. The entire Cardinal defense had sucked over the other way. Great execution by the players. Nice call by Jim Hanifin and Rod Dowhauer.
McFadden for the point after. And it is good. So a good drive by Atlanta coming right back. And 9:16 still to play. They're down 31 to 20.
Why is Ford Ranger America's most popular compact truck? Well, the Ranger XLT has a 660 powertrain warranty and cast aluminum wheels. The Chevy doesn't. Ford Ranger has anti-lock rear brakes and electronic fuel injection. And Ranger has it all for less money than Chevy. You can bank on it. The toughest competition we have is ourselves.
See your dealer now for low financing or special savings on 1990 Ford Ranger.
The tornado that hit Council Bluffs took a lot of people by surprise.
All of a sudden, the house starts shaking.
It was such a roar with it, you couldn't hear anything.
There was very bad damage.
But the All-State Catastrophe Team soon followed with some surprises of their own.
When the adjuster came, he took care of the settlement for both the house and the car, and it was all done within that day.
When the adjuster left, I had the check in my purse.
That Allstate really came through for us.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
A member of the Sears Financial Network.
Looks like Daddy's bringing home the barbecue. A big sack of McDonald's McRib sandwiches. Grilled pork and that sassy sauce. Tempting, huh? Like a barbecue in a barn without the bones. And with a big icy Coke, it's, well, you're only human, huh, Daddy? Chomp. The good time, great taste of McDonald's McRib for a limited time, only at McDonald's.
Alabama's 10th-ranked Tide of Crimson rolls into Beaver Stadium to face Paterno and Penn State hot on a 5-game winning streak next Saturday on CBS Sports.
We see a replay here of that last touchdown. Chris Miller's in the middle of your screen, number 12. In front of him, the middle linebacker. He blitzes. Settles goes out. Harvey blitzes. Nobody's left to cover him. That's a blown coverage. One of those linebackers has to account for that running back coming out of the backfield.
The kickoff comes up at the 12-yard line, and there's some running room. Sikahema. By Sikahema, 51-yard kickoff return. The last man, Charles Dimry, got him at the 36-yard line of Atlanta. Two big plays by Sikahema in this quarter.
Sikahema is a former Pro Bowler and special teams for the Phoenix Cardinals, and he shows why. He's a veteran. He can make the plays. He doesn't have the best speed in the world. He just knows how to return kicks. And Dimry saves a touchdown right here by just eventually pulling Sikahema down.
First down, Cardinals. Baker driven back, and he'll be dropped for a loss. Flags are down. 4 Falcons around the tackle, and one of them might have had a face mask in his hand. Tim Green, who's been pumped up in the second half, leading that Falcons defense.
Personal foul, 15-yard face mask, number 99, defense.
But it's Green who will get the call. Well, a good defensive play turns into a penalty.
Well, the referees judge this not as an inadvertent face mask. Casillas makes a play in the middle. You just see him bounce off there. Baker bounces off him. Now watch, right there. He's got the face mask. Oh, yeah. He never lets go. He keeps a grip on it the whole way and yanks him down. Good call by the referees. That deserves a 15-yard penalty.
The difference between a grab and a grasp we just saw demonstrated there.
Yes. That's more of a demonstration of intent. You grab it and you get up your hands off, that's an oops.
First down, Cardinals at the 26-yard line. Farrell slipped out of Casillas' hands and picked up about 3. Green, the man to finish him off. Tim Green, who plays in a stand-up linebacker position, plays down as a defensive lineman. He was a defensive tackle in college, and they turned him into a linebacker when he came over to Atlanta. But now he thinks Marion Campbell's really got it figured out to use the best of his abilities, and he is a gung-ho guy. Second down and 7. 7:55 remaining. Reverse for J.T. Smith. To the 11-yard line. A good piece of running by J.T. Smith. It looked like they might have him for a loss. Tuggle finally got him, number 58.
What we're going to see here, J.T. Smith is going to come out of the left-hand part of your screen. Couple of fakes. Hogaboom flips it to him. This is a combination of fatigue and talent. Atlanta's fatigued. J.T. Smith's got the talent. They just don't have enough zest and zip right now to get to him and wrap him up and make a tackle.
There he is, J.T. Smith, having another big day. He and Roy Green accepting the responsibility of being the veteran leaders in this wide receiving core, and Green going down with a shoulder injury, and J.T. Smith picking up even more slack. Sanders left limping out of the secondary of Atlanta. Bobby Butler is in. To the corner for Smith, and a battle for it. Case breaks it up. Scott Case, boy, they've been working on him today, and I hearken back to the comments that Smith said when he asked him how come Scott Case had 10 interceptions last year. And Smith said, well, that's because they throw a lot of balls his way.
And here's one coming his way. J.T. Smith comes up, thinks he can get over the top of Scott Case, but a fine play right there in Scott's case, and he almost gets there and makes the catch.
Talking to Scott Case about the same thing, he said it's partly because of our defense. The way we play our defense has given him the opportunity to step in and make picks. The so-called bend and don't break, although Marion Campbell doesn't like to hear it described that way. Scott Case called it exactly that. Sakahema inside. They're about 3 yards to the 8-yard line. Albert Shelley on the stop.
Well, Marion Campbell likes to refer to his defense not as bend but don't break. He likes to refer to it as we don't give up big plays. Well, he should have, I guess we could say at this point, they hadn't given up many big plays. Today, they've given up quite a few big plays to the Phoenix Cardinals.
They're down at the 9-yard line. They can get a first down by making it to the 1. 6:28 to go. An 11-point margin. Obviously, Atlanta has to stop the Cardinals here. Sanders back in. Hogaboom's got running room. Caught by Shelley. Short of the first down. Inside the 5. Huge opening for Hogaboom. Now, he's not exactly a rabbit out there, but he gave it a good effort and had the end zone ahead of him, but Shelley caught him from behind.
Well, those shoulder pads on his shoulders started out at the beginning of that play as shoulder pads and ended up as a coffee table. Because once he saw that opening and took off, all of a sudden gravity started coming into play.
Son Jake will be asking him why he didn't get to the end zone on that play, I think.
Gee, Dad, I could have gotten in there from 10 yards out.
So Del Greco from the 12-yard line with a 22-yarder. Good job by Del Greco. The snap was fumbled by Tom Tupa. Flags are down. Tupa, the backup quarterback, the holder, had a little trouble with a somewhat low snap. Penalty against Atlanta. So the Cardinals now will take a look at this situation. They've got 3 points on the board. They may have a first down. They're just looking at that. No, it looks like it would be short of a first down by about a yard. And the coach says, well, we will not take the points off the board. Thank you very much.
Illegal substitution, 12 men on the field. Defense declined, 3 points.
Falcons tried everything they could on that play, including an extra man to stop the field goal, but Gene Stallings will take the 3.
Working to be the best they can be. Teammates, sponsored by the U.S. Army. For America's team, quarterback has long been the dominant position. Classic Craig Morton and running Roger Staubach once shared the quarterbacking chores for Dallas. In a 1971 game, Coach Tom Landry tried an unusual scheme. He had Morton and Staubach actually alternate on every play. A unique arrangement that took advantage of their individual talents and helped make the Dallas Cowboys the best they can be.
I know college won't be an easy climb. That's why I joined the Army. With the GI Bill and the Army College Fund, in 2 years I'll have $17,000 to help me pay for college. And I'm developing the confidence and determination I'll need to help me succeed when I get there. Now I know I can make it to the top, not just in college, but in whatever I do.
Now hear this.
I'll get you my pretty.
It's that very special time of year.
Potted plant.
As Major Dad
Less permission than trick or treats, sir.
sends the family out on Halloween maneuvers.
See the treats? Take the treats.
Major Dad, Monday.
What are you going as?
America's finest.
Tuesday.
You're killing our children, damn it!
Wolf takes a crack at a powerful neighborhood pusher to save a young boy in trouble.
You need help, I'm here for you.
Wolf, Tuesday.
Following football tonight on CBS when they arrested Joyce Ann Brown for murder. Did they get the wrong woman? You decide tonight on 60 Minutes. Followed by Murder, She Wrote and an important CBS Sunday movie. Do You Know the Muffin Man? Pam Dauber, John Shea, and Anthony Geary. All tonight on CBS. Compelling evening of entertainment. 34-20, Phoenix lead on the field goal by Del Greco from 22 yards away. And that drive used up another 3:50 on the clock. 5:26 remains. And this less than sellout crowd is an enthusiastic crowd cheering on. Quite a performance so far by the Cardinals. Greg Patera. Good return for Atlanta to the 33-yard line. Randy, we mentioned less than a sellout crowd here. A lot of empty seats. Only 33,894 in the stadium today. The lowest crowd here since the Cardinals came to Phoenix.
Well, there's a combination of things for that, Tim. You know, a lot of people say, well, the Cardinals aren't playing well. You can't say that today. The Cardinals have played well today. But over the first 6 weeks of the season, the fans have been a little disappointed. But I think also more importantly, the fans feel they're being a little bit taken advantage of here in Phoenix. The tickets here in Phoenix might start at $15, but they range up to $200 for an average of $38. And a lot of people figure that's not fair.
Well, they're getting a performance from their team today for sure. Miller's now got to somehow raise the Atlanta Falcons with big plays here. They trail by 2 full touchdowns. Keith Jones has a first down, Atlanta, to their 44-yard line. 4:57 and counting down. You can see there are a lot of vacancies over there, especially on the Sol side. Here in Phoenix, it's either Sol y Sombra, and most of the folks naturally want to sit on the shady side of the stadium, which is where we are. And this time of day, if you've been sitting over there since the opening kickoff, you are fried. Jones has 45 yards rushing. Miller right on the money. First down, Atlanta. Inside the 45 of Phoenix. Michael Haynes. Sore shoulder and all, Haynes has been effective today, catching the football for Atlanta. Jay Taylor on the tackle. Sickenhema has made some big plays today. Getting time as a third down back. He came up with a key first down. Reception of a pass from Hogaboom. And a long kickoff return of 51 yards. Talking about Michael Haynes, he's had 4 catches for 66 yards for Atlanta. Collins cannot hold on. Hit from behind by the linebacker Harvey, and Ken Harvey showed a little speed of foot for a linebacker.
Harvey, the University of California graduate, great athlete, very intelligent. Obviously, he came out of Berkeley. Here he stays stride for stride with Sean Collins. Comes up here at the end, has a little bit of contact right there. Collins might be arguing that that was early before the ball got there. It wasn't. I think Sean Collins should have caught that ball. It was a fine job of covering by Ken Harvey.
Harvey, the number 1 pick a year ago, struggled in his rookie year, kind of learning the pro style, but he is a good one now. Short drop, Miller is dropped. Second Cardinal sack, David Galloway.
That is a big play for the Phoenix Cardinals. David Galloway coming out of the left side of your screen against Mike Ken. No, I'm sorry, coming off left guard over Radloff. Just gets on the inside on a rip and jumps over his back and gets all over excuse me, all over Chris Miller.
Third down and 15. Miller on the money. First down, Atlanta. George Thomas, the first-year man from Nevada, Las Vegas, a 16-yard gain and a first down. That was an absolutely must-make play for the Falcons on third down. They've got to get it in the end zone and get the ball back. 3:34 and counting down. A final now. The Giants beat San Diego. Chargers battled back, but came up short as they did a week ago against Seattle. Miller complete again. That is Keith Jones out of the backfield for a gain of 9.
That Giants win we just saw makes this game even more important for Phoenix. If they're to remain in contact with the rest of their NFC Eastern foes, they've got to win this game today.
Philadelphia's victory made them 5-2. The Giants are now 6-1 in the NFC East. Miller, deep sideline, incomplete. Floyd Dixon, the intended receiver, number 86. Jay Taylor had the coverage. Mike Kinn taking himself out here with an injury of some kind, and that brings in Ralph Norwood at left tackle, number 73, a rookie from LSU.
You know, Tim, they've gone away from it for a few plays and haven't used it that much lately. We might look for a little quick slant in again, with specifically with either Haynes or Sean Collins.
3rd and 1. Miller 22 of 39 to this point. John Settle has a blocker, and Settle has the first down to the 16-yard line of Phoenix. Marcus Turner made the catch. There's John Settle. Atlanta has come to count on him for big plays. And Falcons take a timeout.
In this situation, Tim, with 2:37 left, the Falcons are now in 4-down territory. A field goal does them no good. If they have to go all the way to 4th down, they've got to go with it, and they got to make a touchdown.
Updating scores. 2:37 on the clock. Atlanta down by 2 touchdowns. And not only do they have to make offensive plays, but they've got to show great defense to get the ball back quickly.
We saw that timeout graphic there flash on the screen. Atlanta has 1 timeout, which kind of means that that timeout they had to waste earlier here in the second half on that defensive miscommunication could become more and more important. That's assuming they do score here and get the ball back and have a chance to score another touchdown.
Chris Miller had a beard the last time we saw him there. That day he was hurt.
Yeah, I asked him about that Friday, and he says, well, you know, that was my kind of, I'm mad at the world, and I want to look like a bad guy on the sideline with my beard and my sunglasses while I signal in the plays.
He's had 39 pass attempts in this game. That's the most he's thrown in his young NFL career. Well, you can just see this guy's got the goods, and you can see what they have in terms of talent. When they're healthy, they're wide receivers, they're running backs, young offensive line. They're still trying to get that together because of John Scully's contract pulled out. Dukes is new at center, but this is a team that's going to really come together and be something. First down. Good catch. And a first down, Atlanta inside the 5. Stacey Bailey, what a shot he took, and he came in with a bad back into this game.
Well, we were a play late, I guess, on this quick slant over towards the middle, but Chris Miller knew he had a soft spot in there. Look at that shot Bailey takes. He's surprised he's still up on his feet. He says, oh, what the heck, I'll keep running.
Marcus Turner put that hit on him. Bailey, not a big guy, 165-pounder. Been bothered by a bad back, and I'm sure that didn't exactly help his condition.
Well, I think he's more worried about what's between his ears and what's behind his back at the minute.
So it's 1st and goal. Atlanta. 2:26 on the clock.
Gary Hogeman sitting on the sideline. He knows Atlanta has no timeouts out left now. He's got all 3 of his, but that really doesn't matter. He's sitting here. He can't be very concerned if they're going to score a touchdown. If they score, they score. When he gets the ball back, he's got to keep it and never let Atlanta see it again until they play next week.
Settle. Loss on the play. Cedric Mack, the cornerback, coming up to take on John Settle.
That was a smart play by John Settle there, number 44. He saw he wasn't going to get anywhere. He was going to be tackled, so he headed out of bounds before anybody could put him on the ground and make him run more time off this clock.
2:22. The ball now at the 9-yard line. Pressure, gets it off. A flag is down. Sean Collins got maybe a yard and is bulldogged down by Cedric Mack, the cornerback, and flags are down.
That is a bad rookie mistake. Sean Collins, unfortunately for the Atlanta Falcons, just learned a very valuable lesson. You don't react to another player, especially in a crucial situation.
Well, there was a flag down on the far side of the field first. If Sean Collins is lucky, it might be an offsetting situation.
Holding, number 72, defense, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 85, offense. The penalty's offset. We'll replay the down. Second down.
Collins got a break there. Well, we are at Sun Devil Stadium in Tempe, Arizona. For those of you expecting the program 60 Minutes, I'm Tim Ryan with Randy Cross. Welcome to Sun Devil Stadium in Tempe and CBS Sports coverage of the Atlanta Falcons and the Phoenix Cardinals. Our score here is Phoenix 34, Atlanta 20. 60 Minutes will follow this game in its entirety. Second down. Settle. Not much. Tough defense from Michael Zordich, the safety coming up. Settle got maybe 3 or 4 yards. They spot it just outside the 5, where it will be 3rd and goal. And we have reached the 2-minute warning.
We would like to bid a fond farewell to so many old chums with whom we once shared the road. While they headed off to that great parking lot in the sky, Ford Escort continued on to end up in a class by itself as the world's best-selling car, year after year after year.
See your dealer now for low financing or special savings on 1990 Ford Escort.
Did you know that if you're not using AT&T and your 800 number goes out, it could be down for hours? If it does, to your customers, you're out of business. And all you can do about it is sit around and wait.
Hi, how may I help
But
you?
if you use AT&T 800 service, you get the AT&T 800 assurance policy. If your 800 number is ever down for any reason, only AT&T guarantees to get you back in business within an hour. The choice is yours. Keep your customers coming through on the most reliable network in the world. Or take the chance that someday things might get so quiet. Reliability, another AT&T advantage.
2 minutes to play here at Sun Devil Stadium in Tempe, Arizona. Tim Ryan with Randy Cross. The Phoenix Cardinals, who have dominated this game throughout, trying to hold off the Atlanta Falcons. Marion Campbell's team with a 3rd and goal from the 5-yard line, down by 14 points. And, of course, they must score here and then get the ball back if they have any chance to force an overtime.
I thought that last play call by the Atlanta Falcons was really kind of curious. I know they were running up into the 2-minute. They were going to get a timeout anyway. But the running play, I mean, they're playing them very, very tough so far today against the run. Why not go into the end zone? You've only got 3 plays. Now you're down to your last 2 plays.
And no timeouts remaining for Atlanta. Short man, Jones, he slipped, downed at the 1-yard line. Keith Jones probably would have made it into the end zone. Remember, this turf's still a little wet and slick from a heavy rain yesterday in the college football game played here. Arizona State and Oregon. 1:36 and counting, 4th down. Incomplete. Tim McDonald getting a hand on it. So the Phoenix Cardinals have the football, the lead, and the clock. 1:30 remaining.
Chris Miller and the Atlanta Falcons looked a little bit confused and rushed coming off that last play. Keith Jones slipped. He wasn't able to get into the end zone. They had to get right up there, call a play, and make it work. And it looked like it was not a play they would have loved to run in that situation. I'm sure they had something else on their call sheet that could have replaced that one.
Only 33,000 on hand for this game today to watch the 2-4 Cardinals. And many of them have left, and more are leaving now as they feel the game is securely in the hands of Phoenix. First down from the 2-yard line. Hogaboom just pushes forward for about a yard. Well, the Cardinals with this victory will move to 3-4. Atlanta will fall to 2-5. And Tim McDonald with a big defensive play in the end zone. So that's how things will look here, because the Giants defeated San Diego 20-13, and they're now 6-1. The Eagles beat the Raiders. They're in second place. In the NFC West, Atlanta will fall to 2-5. The Rams will be 5-2. New Orleans with a big lead over them. On second down and 48 seconds and ticking.
As we mentioned earlier, Tim, Phoenix is now 3-4. They're also getting a lot of the big horses to be back onto this team in the next couple of weeks. You look for this Phoenix Cardinal team. They got 2 games against Dallas coming up. Come to turn, the 8th, 9th, 10th game, they're going to be starting to make a move.
Well, and next week when they have Robbins back and Nunn back and Lonnie Young back, just that alone, the presence of those men and what they can contribute, going to give a huge lift to this team, which has struggled so badly with injuries and other problems through the first 6 games, as they just let the clock wind down here. Under 9 seconds we go, and a very impressive victory for that man Gene Stallings, being congratulated by Marion Campbell and Jim Hannafin of the Falcons. So the final score in Tempe, the Phoenix Cardinals 34, the Atlanta Falcons 20. We'll be right back.
See you back. Oh, no. Hey, Buzzface. Matthew, did you lose your razor? I can't get around my Adam's apple. You can't get around half your face.
You can reach every place on your face with the new Slim Twin razor system. Slim Twin has the slimmest cartridge to shave hard-to-reach places, and a choice of pivot or fixed head shaving.
That's pretty good. How do I look? Ugly.
New Slim Twin reaches every place on every face. From Schick.